Hello and welcome to this week's FPL transfer tips video. In this series we go through some of the most popular transfers in and out for the game week in FPL and let you know if you should buy them, sell them, keep them or avoid them. Obviously every week we like to go through our previous week's results and how we got on. This week I believe we got, 10 out of 16 correct, which is actually fairly decent. If you take out the keeps, which didn't go so well, everything actually went fairly decently. We've got Sanchez in the buys. I think that was a copy from game week 2 as well. Chelsea obviously kept a clean sheet against Luton. Diaz and Mbeumo didn't do so well. We obviously expected a City clean sheet against Sheffield United, and that didn't come. Obviously a lot of people ended up going for the City defenders, so that would have been pretty disappointing. And Mbeumo obviously being on top form, didn't really perform as well as we would have liked, but I still think Diaz and Mbeumo will be good going into the future games. For the sales, everything went great. Selling Pickford, obviously Pickford's not really been too much of a great option at all in FPL this year. Selling Trent went well as well. He was actually very lucky not to get sent off on Sunday. Salah, I've got him, obviously get 5 points. I think with the expensive price of Salah, you really want to get more than 5 points. So I've counted that, but that could be one that you could count as an L there. Pedro, obviously 1 point, didn't start. That would have been very disappointing for owners. In terms of the keeps, that didn't do too great. Johnson only getting 2 points. And it now looks like Dean Henderson will be signing for Crystal Palace, so he's definitely going to be one that we're going to be looking to get out in the near future. Gabriel, obviously we expected to start against Fulham with Tomiyasu being suspended. He didn't do that, and now it's looking definitely like Gabriel is not going to be anywhere near the starting 11, at least for now with Arteta's team. There must be something going on there that we don't really know about. Eze as well, still got good fixtures, hasn't really performed yet at the start of the season, but there's still high hopes for him. Into the avoids, Areola ended up making about 9 saves. No clean sheet again for him, but it was a bit of an L there with the amount of saves that he made. Ake, Matoma and Isaac all good there, with all of them blanking as well. Taking a look at the 4 buys for this week then, we're starting off with Ederson in goal. Got him basically because I don't really think there's too many good goalkeepers going around right now. Maybe Ederson and Sanchez probably looking like the best two. Flecken's looking okay as well, but there's not too many going around. And I think with Man City's fixtures, the same with Diaz last week, we can expect a lot of clean sheets from him. Obviously 3 starts and only 1 goal conceded for Man City right now, and they have a 55% chance of a game week 4 clean sheet. As well, as you can see with the fixtures, Fulham, West Ham and Nottingham Forest, you could easily expect 2, maybe even 3 clean sheets from those games, with 2 home games in there as well. Into the defender, we're going with Rico Henry. Again, I think he is probably one of the best 4.5 range defenders you can go for right now. Obviously Udogi's in there, Cash is in there, and there'll be a couple other ones that I can't think of as well, but I think Henry, with the attacking potential that he's got, and Brentford have looked very decent off the start of the season. They have 1 clean sheet in their first 3 games, and Henry's also picked up an assist in there as well. 40% chance of a clean sheet against Bournemouth this weekend, and obviously in game week 5 they have Newcastle away. But I think with the way the defence is structured now, everyone's got 2 or 3 very cheap defenders. You can easily bench him for game week 5, bring him back for Everton at home, and I think he will be a great pick. As a midfielder, we're going with Maddison. 3 starts, 1 goal, 2 assists. He looks fantastic. Easily the best Spurs player you can own right now. 33% chance of a game week 4 goal as well against Burnley. I think Maddison's going to be one of the most popular transfers in this week, with a lot of people taking out Arsenal and Man United midfielders. Maddison just looks fantastic. Very easily could get some goals against some of the harder teams, with Arsenal and Liverpool coming up as well. Maddison just looks fantastic. Isak as well, 7.7 million. I think it could be the time to go for the Newcastle players. The fixtures are starting to ease up a little bit, Brighton and Brentford still probably a little bit on the hard side, but we've seen with Brighton that they do concede goals. There's still no clean sheets from them so far this season, and I think Isak could be a great one to get in early, a good differential. And I think he could work very well. Obviously Brentford at home as well, you would probably expect a goal from him there, even though Brentford have looked good defensively. And then obviously Sheffield in game week 5 is probably where most people are going to bring him in. Into the list of sells then, we're starting off with Aaron Ramsdale in goal for the second week. I think as good as Ramsdale is, normally gets a lot of saves and stuff, he's averaging 1.3 per game, which is lower than last season, so he's not really getting the save points. And obviously Arsenal haven't looked amazing defensively. They have a couple of injuries in there, and they seem to be trying something different with the inverted fullbacks with Thomas Partey in at right back. But I think with Arsenal's fixtures right now, Man United and Spurs coming up, it's very unlikely they're going to be keeping a lot of clean sheets. And as we can see, Ramsdale's obviously not really been having too much to do. So I think Ramsdale's an easy sell, especially with, as I said in game week 1, with Raya possibly making a odd appearance in there. You don't want to be stuck with him and then having to make a goalkeeper transfer. Into the centre-back or the defensive position, we've picked another Arsenal defender with Gabriel. I think if you've not sold him yet, it's definitely time to do so. Most people probably already have sold him, but again, 0 starts, it's definitely time to get rid. And again, especially with those fixtures, time to move him on. Into midfield and striker, we've got 2 Brighton players. Pedro more because of the rotation, Mitoma because of the fixtures. I think there's better options you can get for that 6.5 slot. The players like Eze, Kudus, who's now been added, and Buemo, of course, they all just look a bit better than Mitoma in terms of fixtures. Newcastle at home, Man United away. You probably don't want to hold them through that, and I think again there's probably better players you can get for that price. Pedro, again, same as last week, just not really nailed in that starting 11. Only 1 start out of the 3 games as well so far. His 1 goals came from a penalty, and I don't think I really would be wanting to hold him. I would try to upgrade him to maybe a Jackson or a Watkins, or someone who's just a bit more expensive and you can rely on for starts and goals. As we take a look at our keeps then, we're starting off with Onana in goals. Now Onana's probably one of the most transferred out players this week, and I think it's probably a bit of a mistake. Obviously the fixtures don't look fantastic for Man United right now with Arsenal and Brighton coming up, but Onana you can see is averaging 4.3 saves per game, and then Man United are going to be keeping some clean sheets this season. So where it's not started off very well for them, Onana's still getting the save bonus points. I still think he is one of the best goalkeeper options this year at 5 million. So again, with the Arsenal fixtures and the Brighton fixtures, you would be expecting a lot of saves from Onana, and even if he doesn't get those clean sheets, he could still get 4 or 5 points. So I don't think I would want to be making that transfer, especially when there's so many issues that a lot of people have in the outfield section of a team. I wouldn't want to be making that goalkeeper transfer just yet, and I think Onana again is going to be one of the best goalkeepers throughout the season. In defence, Estupiñán is still one of the most transferred players out as well this week. 5.3 million, he's already rose 0.3 million for good reason as well. He's got a goal and 2 assists, and he's basically playing as a left winger for Brighton. And I think even through those fixtures with Newcastle and United, you would still hope for some attacking returns even if Brighton aren't keeping the clean sheets. Obviously on a 23% chance of a clean sheet this week, I think Estupiñán could still chip in with a goal, maybe an assist, and as well some bonus points as well. So I think it would be a big mistake to get rid of him. Bruno Fernandes, I think he's probably the better pick to keep out of him and Rashford, which is a very popular duo in people's teams. He looked fantastic as more of the attacking role for a change against Nottingham Forest at the weekend. Previously we've seen him playing a bit too deep and not really getting into the game as much in the attacking form. But as you can see, 4 big chances created, a goal and an assist. in 3 starts. And I think, again, with Brighton's shaky defence, Burnley coming up as well, I definitely would be keeping him, especially with the penalties as well. I think he just looks a bit better than Rashford. If I had both of them in my team, I would definitely be choosing to keep Bruno of the two. And then at striker, we're going with Ollie Watkins. Still yet to score a goal, but I think Liverpool with Van Dijk out could be very shaky, even more shakier than they already are in defence. I think this could be the game that Ollie Watkins thrives. We've seen him score against Liverpool in the past. He's had a few goals in recent games against them, and even with the assists as well, Diaby could get some goals as well in there. And then after that, they've got Palace and Chelsea. Maybe look to sell him on in a couple of weeks' time when Villa's fixtures start to get a bit dodgy. But I think for this week anyway, I would definitely be betting on him to score against Liverpool. And finally, we're wrapping things up with the avoid. Some popular transfers in that I think could end up being traps. Areola, one of the most popular goalkeepers this week, still has very, very poor fixtures. This is one that I could look back in a week's time and he ends up getting a clean sheet against Luton and I have to tick it off as red. But I think for the future, Areola is not going to be a great pick. Fair enough if you want to be making that transfer as your backup goalkeeper, but a lot of people are thinking of going Turner and Areola as their 2 goalkeepers, and I don't think I'd want to be holding Areola through those 2 fixtures. And at the same time, I wouldn't want to be making that backup goalkeeper transfer when there's better gains to be made in the starting 11. He could end up keeping a clean sheet against Luton this week, but again, I think for future games, I wouldn't really want to be owning him. In defence, we're going for another Arsenal player. Again, with the fixtures, it's just not looking too great for Saliba. I think those that held him obviously done very well over the first 3 game weeks, but I think now I would be looking to move him on to someone like a Diaz or maybe one of the 4.5 defenders. But I think Saliba has served his time and done very well for owners, but coming up with, again, United and Spurs, I think I'll be looking to move him on. In midfield, we're going for Bowen as our pick. Again, one of those players that could do very well against Luton, but I wouldn't want to be holding him through the difficult West Ham fixtures for the exact same reason as Areola. I don't think he's going to do too well. Only a 28% chance of scoring in game week 4 as well, which is a lot lower than most players. There's a good 20-25 players ahead of him there. 2 goals and 1 assist, obviously done great in his game at the weekend with 2 goals. But I think, again, if you're going to be bringing him in, he's going to be more of a 1 week punt and then you're going to be looking to get rid of him again next week. So for me, he would be an avoid. And just see what happens at the weekend. Again, if he blanks against Luton, you're stuck with him for some difficult fixtures coming up. And again, at 7 million, there's a lot better options at that price point. And at striker, we're going for Nunez, someone who's already dropped 0.2 million this season. Obviously had 2 fantastic finishes at the weekend against Newcastle and pretty much won Liverpool the game. But again, 0 starts in 3 games this season. Could end up starting at the weekend as basically a reward for his 2 goals, but I wouldn't want to be banking on that. I think he's one to watch and maybe bring him in the cup in the next few weeks. But for now, I think Nunez is an avoid because we can't guarantee his starting place at striker. And yeah, again, 42% chance of a goal, which is fairly high, but again, you're relying on him playing the full 90 minutes, and I think that's very unlikely. And that wraps up this week's FPL Game Week 4 Transfer Tips video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more FPL content. Make sure to hit the notifications bell as well so you know exactly when I upload. But thanks again for watching and I will see you all in the next one.